Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Okay, hi everyone. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. I hope that you're in good health and secure. We're going to do Gongyo today. So, this question continues to pop up for as long as I've been practicing, and certainly as long as I've been a strong proponent of studying strictly Nichiren Shonin's doctrines, elucidations, methods of practicing what is Shakyamuni's ultimate teaching of self-practice, the Lotus Sutra. So make no mistake about it, I'll say it again, we practice Buddhism per the founder, inventor, discoverer, instantiator of Buddha, which is Shakyamuni Buddha. There is no other Buddha. There is no other historical Buddha. Shakyamuni is the one who created this practice to enliven anybody's, all sentient beings, Buddha mind. If you have a mind, you have a Buddha mind, an understanding of the entire process, instantiation, manifestation of all life forms. That is Buddhism. Nichiren is our contemporary mentor and teacher, and because it is this time, this era of humanity and mind, where we have the capacity to instantiate this Buddha immediately, perfectly, completely, Nichiren further gave us a contemporary tool so that we might use it to create that efficacy of opening that door in our minds to the perception Buddha, the Buddha mind, if you will. Nichiren knew that for this era of incredible distraction that we needed in this time for our capacity to have something to anchor to in order to then perceive within our minds Buddha. That is why he created this mandala that you see behind me. It took him years and years of his practice to perfect this mandala. And so the question comes up repeatedly, and it's not a complaint. I'm just identifying something that is kind of one of those first questions when you start practicing. Why this mandala? And by the way, how do you know, Mr. Chamberlain, that this is an authentic Nichiren inscribed mandala? Well, as with all our study in Buddhism, our study, our learning, our self-teaching comes on the shoulders of those great scholars before us, right? I'm not teaching Sylvain Buddhism. I'm not even teaching Nichiren Buddhism, but Nichiren is my mentor, and I am emulating what Nichiren claims as well to have done. Nichiren never said, I am Buddha, follow me. If you've watched any of the hundreds of videos I've posted on Nichiren's writings, and there's more to come, and I'm in the midst of them, right? We went to Zenshu, we're going to Nichiren Shu Jintei. I almost forget how to say that. They have their own library of a lot of the same Goshos as well as some others. We've been reading Dr. Jacqueline Stone's translations of certain Goshos on original enlightenment, right? Every source I can find that's scholarly, that's academic, that's exegesis, is to do this correctly, we're studying, you and I, along with. And in all of those, Nichiren always claims to be an envoy, a votary of Shakyamuni. The closest he's come to identifying himself as something other than Shakyamuni's envoy is to label himself an instantiation of bodhisattva superior practices. But as we know, all of those names, bodhisattvas of various order, even other Buddhas, are all personages, not people, that indicate a certain mindset, a certain mental activity, behavior, commitment. So even in his identifying of elements of the Lotus Sutra in personages, he's still just reinstantiating the degree of his commitment to following with accuracy Shakyamuni's teaching of self-practice in the Lotus Sutra, embodying it in a mandala with the key, the simple key of singing the title of the Lotus Sutra, which is far more than the title, but it encapsulates the entire teaching of self-practice given to us by Shakyamuni almost 3,000 years ago. Nichiren never makes the egregious egotistical mistake of saying, this has been transferred to me and I am now it. And yet we still have groups and sects, actual sects of Buddhism today, who claim to be an embodiment, a replacement for Nichiren. By extension, Shakyamuni. It's such an egotistical thing. It's not Buddhism, certainly. But look, you've studied the Gosho along with me. Nowhere does Nichiren ever do this. Although certain sect would tell you different, right? And why would they do that? Shakyamuni and Nichiren both, and Tendai and Nagarjuna, they've all told you that this is a universal practice, that any sentient being could attain enlightenment. We chant it in Gongyo, right? The part of Gongyo where we end by saying, come on, Sylvain. Zuyo shokado ises shuju ho maiji zazenen igaryo shujo tokanyu mujo do sokujo ju bushin. Right? How many times have you chanted that? Have you sang that? Because that's what chanting means, singing, right? You ever heard the expression singing one's praises? So here's an English translation. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it's just to give you an idea what we are chanting, what you're singing every day. Always I am aware of which living beings practice the way and which do not. So again, there's an exegesis from Shakyamuni to see this difference, not to be ignorant to it. And in response to their needs for salvation, I preach various doctrines for them, expedient means. At all times, I think to myself. Notice this is first person. Shakyamuni taught this as a recitation, as a memorization, as an actualization. He didn't say, me, Buddha, I think, and therefore you should. No, he handed the reins over to you. At all times, I think to myself, how can I cause living beings to gain entry into the unsurpassed way and quickly acquire the body of a Buddha, or of Buddha? Again, English translations. Right? And what is the body of Buddha? It's the three bodies. We've been studying this over and over and over again. Right? The manifest body, the reward body, the Dharma body. They're all in one, as we are in samsara, which is the only way that you can emerge a mind that can be aware and witness this grandeur of the entire universe. Without time and space considerations, this is a fundamental of all life. And we, at all times, we, by virtue of self-practice, think to ourselves, how can I cause living beings to gain entry into the unsurpassed way and quickly acquire the body of Buddha? How can I help everyone I know, beyond everyone I know, all living beings, to awaken their Buddha mind? How do I do that? That's what I think of all day long, every moment of every day. Right? This is Shakyamuni. And Nichiren is living that self-practice and showing us how to. That's what we're doing, practicing together Nichiren's doctrine of the Lotus Sutra. So, certainly the mandala that Nichiren created, being the effort of many years, and now I'm going to pause and tell you why I say that. There are organizations out there whose sole purpose is to investigate the scholarship of Nichiren and Buddhism. And this is just one, and I'm going to show it to you. You see what it says here? Can it focus? The Nichiren Mandala Study Workshop. These fine people, and there used to be a lot of this online. That website is now gone. But they have these books, and they have several books that show images, holographs, dates, and collectors where these holographs are of modern extant. Look at these. And these are just printed in a book. They're I'd like to see them in person. That would be pretty freaking awesome. They show them enshrined in various ways depending on which collections they're in, right? There are very early versions. Yeah, they have their own charts for deciphering all the characters, the personages on these mandalas, right? Well, look, I want to show you this one because early on, I mean, when Nichiren first happened on this idea of how am I going to give a specific person an object to focus on to attain their enlightenment, do you see how different they look? These are early mandalas. Look at this one. All of them have a single feature, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, down the center, right? But Nichiren evolved and worked on and honed, and as his life went on teaching, he honed this mandala. Look at this one. Right? There's a lot of scholarship in these books and others. There are many more, and you can buy them yourself online. I will provide the links in the description to these this workshop. They have a Facebook page. They have a website. They have a YouTube page. And there are other groups. This is just one. What I want to point out is there's a tremendous amount of academic scholarship in the world for a long, long time now that's been identifying authentic representations, even the fragments of paper held in museums or collections of certain sects or collections of academicians that are proven actual renderings of, or holographs is a word often used for this academic practice of identifying authentic documents. And these mandala, there are 125 total. That's all that remains of Nichiren's actual hand, and maybe a couple where he handed over the blueprint and said, this is the mandala, the universal mandala. He was buried with one of them, right? For you and I to enliven, to awaken, to pierce our mind, our consciousness of Buddha. Nichiren did that for us. He did it based on Shakyamuni's practice, self-practice teaching of the Lotus Sutra, right? Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. So certainly that document is very important to our practice. That's why we're always urged to have one, because it is the most expedient means for us to enliven in our samsaric mind of attachments, constant distractions, to go, I want to experience my Gohanzon, my ultimate window of Buddha. So, if somebody comes along, if I come along and I say to you, well, I understand what Nichiren was doing better than anyone else, so I'm going to make my own version. I'm going to copy Nichiren's mandala, and I'm going to sign my name on it and give you my date of when I received this amazing teaching, and I'm going to add myself to your object of focus for you to attain your enlightenment, albeit with my name and my information and whatever little quirk I want to add on there. Wouldn't you feel it's kind of like getting a driver's license, but not really, because it's a permit and the signature of your parents is on it. So that when you're driving around feeling, I'm free, I can drive a car, sort of, only by the auspices of my parent allowing me and being with me in the car, or I'm in deep doo-doo. What? Who wants that? Who the hell are you? Who the hell am I? Am I subsuming and superior to? Only an authoritarian would do that. Only an authoritarian would have the unmitigated ego, the arrogance to say, follow me and practice Nichiren, practicing Shakyamuni. In fact, that particular sect is so arrogant that they want to say that Nichiren is the original Buddha, predating Shakyamuni. How are you pulling that trick off? We know Nichiren was a monk identifying himself as the envoy of Shakyamuni in the 13th century Japan. How does he predate Shakyamuni of 600 BC? How are you pulling that off? That's a real mystical juggling game right there. But that's not enough. Now we're meant to accept that this 70th leader, or whatever count leader he is of that sect, is now Nichiren's stand-in. He's got it. He's got the ball. I'm not practicing Nikken, Noken, whatever, whoever his name is. I'm not practicing his Buddhism. I'm practicing Shakyamuni. See, when you unglue the teaching from its origin, you cannot be faithful to the teaching. You're deviating for your own agenda. So yeah, I'm really upset about that, because they march through the world getting people to sit up and beg for their opportunity to get their version of the mandala, all the while telling you this is the mandala. They never differentiate. But wait, put on the brakes here, scratch the record. That has never been the mission of Buddhism. I'm going to read it again in English. At all times, I think to myself, how can I cause living beings to gain entry into the unsurpassed way and quickly acquire the body of Buddha? It doesn't say, at all times I think to myself, how can I make people beg for permission? At all times I think to myself, if you measure up, you can get one of these. Oh man, it makes me so angry. The whole purpose of this practice is that anyone, no matter what their status, what their level of education, what their economic reality, what their current life condition is, can awaken immediately their Buddha nature. Why would you put obstacles in front of that? It's absolutely heinous. I can tell you, Nichiren wouldn't tolerate it. How many of his writings have we read together where Nichiren is railing on the other teachers of his day? And they were all committed to teaching Buddhism, quote unquote. But any little deviation they put in for their own political gains, economic gains, positioning, superiority games, Nichiren called them out constantly. That's why they exiled him. Will you shut up? We're over here trying to control people and tell them what to think. And you're calling us out. Shut up, Nichiren. And they sent him off to different islands and exiled him to try to behead him. We've had it with your crap. We don't want to hear your truth. Shut up, Nichiren. Right? Well, in my mind, those sects that are making you qualify for your particular version of a mandala that you claim is Nichiren's, when it isn't. It's their own invention. It may have a lot of Nichiren's mandala on it, but they're defiling it. That's not Buddhism. That's arrogance. That's authoritarianism. That's something else. So if you can't tell, I'm extremely passionate about this practice for you and me being universal and making this mandala easily attainable. Nothing should get in your way. I have it online at a printing service. And you pay for their printing costs and whatever it took to put it. There's no great, it's not a great money source or anything. It's just available to you in different sizes to get an actual digital copy of a mandala through scholarship, right? The books and other organizations, that prove that this was by the hand of Nichiren. No other crap, no bullshit. The mandala Nichiren created for our maximal potential practice, self-practice. And you can get one online. Nothing easier than that. It shouldn't be difficult to get a mandala of Gohonzon because it's for all our enlightenment. That's why I use it, that's why I promote it, and that's why I rail against these other organizations that fool you into thinking that you're practicing with some kind of authentic mandala. It isn't. It's defiled. It's got arrogance and ego built into it because these people are subsuming Buddhism as their provision to you. Nowhere in Shakyamuni's Buddhism or Nichiren's scholarship is that the case. In fact, Nichiren goes quite a ways out of his ways to, especially when he was, what's the word? When they sent him away to Ito and to Sado Island, and he goes out of his way to say, look, I am the votary of the Lotus Sutra. The votary. How many times have you read that? He doesn't say, I am Buddha, follow me. He says, I am your teacher for this day and age. Look at Shakyamuni's self-practice doctrine, the Dharma of Buddha. I am positioning, I'm dedicating my life to making this clear to everyone. Just like I just read. Every moment of the day, I think to myself, how do I bring other people to Buddha, to this practice? Right? So yeah, I have tremendous confidence that the mandala that I promote, that I use, that I make available universally is a Nichiren inscribed mandala. I don't have my name on it. God, just saying that gives me the willies. Does anyone say that anymore? So does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you. When I first started practicing, I practiced through these other organizations. And like Nichiren Shu, their mandala always looked a little weird, but I know why now, because they're staying authentic to a particular mandala inscribed by Nichiren. Shoshu, it changes with every head priest, head monk, whatever you want to call him. Because then he inscribes one, puts his name on it and date and whatever else he wants to put on there. What are you doing? I can't believe they've gotten away with it this long. And it really, I don't think they would be such a blip on the radar were it not for the lay organization that saw it as an opportunity to spread their politic and their money-making machine into the world. Yeah, I'm calling out Ikeda and his organizations. He's a politician. And though you might say he's to be lauded for having brought Buddhism to a broader audience, he's done so by defiling it. And that is not tolerable. Controversy? Certainly. But it's not controversy if you read Shakyamuni's doctrines, if you follow Nichiren's writings. There's no controversy at all. It's just a poser doing what he shouldn't be doing. Playing like a deck of cards. Which mandala will I use? Let's see, this guy. Well, I like this guy. Let's use his. Well, what are you doing? This is Nichiren's mandala of the self-practice, the Lotus Sutra of Shakyamuni. That is Buddhism. What they are doing is not. I hope I've said enough on that. The mandala in Nichiren Buddhism. I take issue with that statement, but I can let it ride. It's not Nichiren's Buddhism. It certainly is Nichiren's scholarship of Buddhism, which is a statement I think Nichiren himself would be very comfortable with. Just read his writings. I'm not making this up. To call it Nichiren's Buddhism is a leftover of the arrogance of man. Nichiren is my teacher. I'm not defiling him in any way. I'm respecting his own definition of himself as the votary of the Lotus Sutra, Shakyamuni's Buddhism, and doctrine of self-practice. That is what we do. Thank you, Nichiren. He's my exemplar, my mentor, my revered teacher. Yeah? Buddha is not a person. It's you and I. It's the knowledge, the experience, the insight that all minds have the capacity to see, to experience. That is the teaching. So, Nichiren inscribed Mandala of Gohonzon, positively identified through 100 years of scholarship and more. That's what we practice. No defilements, no sectarianism, no egos. Just your enlightenment. Don't let anything get in the way. Right? Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Thanks for listening. Enough of that rant. What I will do, because in response to this question as it comes up, I used the search on the, not the YouTube search, but our channel homepage has a search on it, right, with a little magnifying glass. And I did a search last night, because I know I've talked about this many times. But it turns out, unless I missed it, that I never specifically made a video on this topic. I think in the back of my mind, I kind of said, why should I have to do that? And so I don't think I ever made a specific video on this subject. So I thought, well, maybe I've done a disservice to you guys, to those who just discovered the channel and are looking around, and you're learning and finding out a lot of aha moments, a lot of insights about what you've been told and how all of it. And logically, one of your first questions is, why this mandala? Why are there different mandalas, right? That's a logical question as you enter into this practice. And I thought, I need to just make a video and identify what is Nichiren Mandala of Gohonzon. And that's, I think, what I'll name this video, just to make it easily searchable and to put a final period on the end of the sentence of, this is the one, this is why it's the one, this is historically why it's the one, this is the correct practice. Not Sylvain Buddhism, not Sylvain's Gohonzon, right? This is Nichiren's mandala of your Buddha state, your enlivening of your mental capacity to experience Buddha. That's all Buddhism is about. Let's not glom on a bunch of other crap to it. Let's just do it per Shakyamuni's instructions, per Nichiren's elucidation. Let's not let anything derail our Buddha, and let's make it easily attainable. Isn't that the whole ball of wax right there? All right, enough ranting. If I said anything confusing, if I wasn't direct enough, if you still have questions, please put them in the comments. You can email them to me, and some of you have, and I appreciate that because that's what spawned this video. But don't be afraid to put them in the comments so everyone else can see them, because for every question you have, there's 1,000 people out there that wish they would have asked it. And unless I see it and I know to address it, those questions will go unanswered. And that would be an obstacle which I would rather expiate and get out of the way. Make sense? Okay. Thank you enough for listening. Got to prepare for doing Gongyo now so we can really consider what this conversation's been about. Conversation. Who are you kidding? It's just me on my platform, right? Hopefully, though, it makes sense. I want your practice to be ultimate. I don't want anything in the way. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. Otherwise, why bother? I'll go mow the lawn. Okay. Thank you for being here. I so respect your efforts and your practice, your dedication. I'm proud of you. I'm deeply grateful. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Take care of your health, be kind, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Well, till Gongyo anyway. Okay. Camera adjusted. Check, check, check. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho 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 Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo 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 Myoho Renge Kyo. Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho 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 Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namo Myoho Renge Kyo.
Namo myoho renge kyo, namo myoho renge kyo, namo myoho renge kyo, namo myoho renge kyo, namo myoho renge kyo. Namo myoho renge kyo, 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 namo myoho Horenge go namo myo 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 horenge go Namo myoho renge 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 go namo myoho Myoho renge kyo namo 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 myoho renge kyo Myoho renge kyo namo 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 myoho renge kyo, 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 namo myoho renge kyo. Horenge go namo myoho renge 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 go. Myoho renge ko namo 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 myoho renge ko. Namo myoho renge ko 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 namo myoho renge ko. Namo myoho renge ko 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 namo myoho renge ko. Renge ko namo myoho 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 renge ko. Namo myoho renge ko 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 namo myoho renge ko. Namo myoho renge ko 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 namo myoho renge ko. Namo myoho renge ko 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 namo myoho renge ko. Namo myoho renge ko 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 namo myoho renge ko. Namo myoho renge ko 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 namo myoho renge kyo. Namu myoho renge kyo. Namu myoho renge kyo. Namu myoho renge kyo. Namu. Myoho renge kyo. Ho ben ponai ni Jesus anju sanmai anjo niki go shari hacha shobu jie jinjin morio go chie manange nanyo izai shoman yakuji butsu. Butsu shingan yakazanman nakamushu sho butsu tingyo cho butsu morio doho yimyo cho jimyo cho fumanjo jo jinjin mizo uho suigi so satsui shunange shari hacha go jujo butsu irai shuju inen. Mushu ho ben indo shujo rori cho dakajo ishaga nyorai ho ben chiken haramitsukai igu sakashaya nyorai chiken kodai jinna muryo muge riki musho isen joge da samai jinyu musai joju isai mizo uho shariyo nyorai no. Ganji nunane kajushin shari hachashuyo ganji muryo muhen mizo uho bushichidoju shisha hachafushu bushicho ishaga busho joju daichike unange shiho yuibutsuyo butsunai no kujin. Shoho nyoze, so noze, show noze, ta noze, riki noze, sa noze, en noze, ga noze, ho noze, honma gugyo do shoi, shoho noze, so noze, show noze, ta noze, riki noze, sa noze, en noze, ka noze, ho noze, honma gugyo do shoi. Show noze, ta noze, riki noze, sa noze, en noze, ka noze, ho noze, honma gugyo do. Amyo renge kyo no raiju yo handai ju raga niji butsugo shobo satsugu isai daishu shosen nanji nyo to shinge nyo raijo daishi go bugo daishu nyo to shinge ubugo sho daishu nyo to shinge nyo raijo daishi go zeji bosasu daishu mi ragabi shu ga sho buka butsugan se son yui gan se shi ga to shinju butsugo nyo ze san bagi bugan yui gan se shi ga to shinju butsugo Sanjo Fushi Nigo Shi Ganyo to Taijo Nyorai Hi Mishin Shushi Riki Sai Seiken Tenin Yu Ashura Kai Kon Shakyamuni Butchu Jakajigu Kogaya Jofu Ansa Ojo To Tokawa Nokutara Samyak Zambo Dai Nenzen Nanchi Gaji Do Butsu Irai Nayuta ko hinyogo yakizema no nayuta asogi sanzenda sensei ka keshi unin machi mijin ka otobogo yakizema no nayuta asogi kokunage ichijin yose togyo jinze mijin chosen nanchi owi yunga ze shosei ka katakushi yukyo ge chigo Kubakabukan se son se so se kai mo ya mu hen hi san shu so shi yaki shin ni so gu i sai shaman yaki butu i mu ro chi fu no chi yu chi go gen chu ga do chu ai yo chi chi o ze chi chu Nyo ze so se kai mo ya mu hen ni ji butu go dai bo sa shu so se dan chi kan to fu myo sen go no to ne ze so se kai nyaka jaka mi jin gu fu jaka ja ji ni i jin i jin i go ga jo butu i rai bu ga o shi yaka zen man no na yuta Gajo zai shi shaba se ga se bo gyoki yako yosho yakizema nakana yuda azogi kokudori shujo chosen nanchi oze chugen gatsu tenendo buto ubu gango nyu one hanyo se kai ho ben fu mitsu chosen nanchi nyaku shujo Gango shindo shogun ridan shusho odo shoujo Jesus myo di fudo nengi daisho yakubu gengo no nyu ne hanu I juju ho ben sesame myo ho no ryo shujo ho kangi shinso sen nanchi nyorai kencho shujo Isen nin setsugasho shuge tokuwa no kutara samyak zambo rai nenga jiro butu irai kuwan yakishi tani ho ben kyoke shujo no nyu butsudo san yo se setsudo sen nanchi nyorai showen koden kai do da shujo wakuseko shin Wakati Tajin, Wakati Kojin, Wakati Taji, Shocho, Ganta Sakai to the Fugo, Cho, We Chagan, Yorai, Noji, Chiken, Sangai, Shiso, Mu, Uchoji, Nakata, Yakachaki, Yagamuzai, saying you, Mr. Rosa, he did he go, he no, he, Funyo, Sangai, Ken, no, Sangai, Yon. Yorai, Myoken, Mu, Shagmyo, Isho, Jujo, Ushu, Jujo, Shuju, Yakuju, Yo, Shuju, Okuzo, Fumbeko, Yakaro, Chocho, Zengani, Nakani, Nani, Yuganji, Shuju, Seppo, Sosa, Butsi. Jindai guan jumyo muryo asogi kojo ju fumbetsu shosen nanchi ga hongo bo satsudo shoujo jumyo kanyu mi jinbu bai joju nenkan hijitsu metro ni ben shogun toshu metro no rai ize ho ben kyoge shujo cho isha ga nyakabuku ju ose Bingu ge sen don daga go yakunyo o okazo mo gen mo junya gen nyo rai jo zai fu betsu benki kyoshi ni e en nai fu no sho o nanzo shi so kugyo shi shin se ko nyo rai i ho ben setsu bigu doji sho bu su se nanga chi gu sho i shaga sho yakudanga dinga mo ryo yakuzen ma no go waka u gen batu waka fu gen chai chi ji ko ga sa se gon Shiju do do mo nyao ze go hi do cho nanzo shi so shin ne renbo katsugo o butsu pensu sengan ze ko nyo rai shui fuji tsumen ni go metsu do uzen nanchi sho butsu nyo rai hokan yo ze i do chujo kai jitsu fugo hi nyo ro i Shubyo gani ta sho shi yakuzanga du di ju nai shi yakuju iu ji en non chi yo go sho shi yo go on ta doka yaka tsumon lan en en nu ji se ji go bu gen lai ki ge sho shi on doka wakashi hon shin wakafu shi sha yo gen go bu kai dai kangi ガトグチゴボクタケデケケンケンクヨキョチチュニョブケンチドクノニョゼエショキョボクゴヤケトシキゴミミカイスツクシャケトシワゴヨシロボクニサゼガンチダイロヤケシキゴミミクノムボチゲンゴジョジジュフシシンジャケンチロヤケシキゴグコサケベンボクシビョジンジョユヨシシンジャケンゴブライスヤカンギマンチングジャケディビョネンヨゴヤケニフゴボクショイシャガドゲジンヨシパンチンコオシコシキゴヤケニイフミイドキジョシュシンガイデンドスイケンガキグシャクリョノゼイコヤケニフコボケガコントゼトベンドロボクシヤケサクサゼゴンヨトトチガコンスイロチジイシセゴロヤケコンルサイシニョカチョボクムツフサザゼキョイヨブイシセジショシマンブアイショシンダイウノイニサゼネンヤケブシャシャジミンガドノケンクゴコンチャシャガオンソタカクジヨイコロムブジゲンジジョエイケンチンジュイショコナイチチヤケシキゴミミシャクシュベクシダカビョガユガバモンチシチチャクダイジンベンライキゲンチゲンチソゼンナンチヨウイユンガcomo財布保茶生産不知根が役の税調不注意来無料無変約千万なくないよだ遊ぎ行為修上行為法便利機根と滅動役務運用の法説が公務会社二次生産翌重戦的に設計感知が高ぶ来証拠証拠中無料約千万なく在遊ぎ上税法協議無中約中上未来無料行為同種上行法弁言内反に実不滅動上重視説法が上重をし超人類歴路天道重道水が二部現中堅が滅動航空用車利限界連邦中上期陳北チェキチェキ入難に信用権物富士だけで名字が牛出足出動重前が自己中上同在自不滅違法弁利公言入滅不滅用国中上苦行信号者説明情報にお豆腐満ちたにが滅動が現状中上持つ作用空海後不意現進労合小結合因合新連邦内出微細胞人類歴の税を和葬儀工場在労重前牛用長中上中上健康人可視動画ので人情10万の人衝動学重々を長官法重大計画中上超有楽上天学天空動作主義学マンダラ計三部地大衆が浄土風紀に中堅上人尿税設10万税総裁修正医薬合意年化葬儀合分満三本苗超宇宙空đặc入は七的差総会見外新財新にサポワクリ一中節分の無料一節分難地が地歴尿税工場無料寿命無修学修学所着尿と内茶元地長儀と断尿用人物合実不可尿以前方便二次用仕合無能税項目が役位生物上具現者一般部伝導実来にが滅異条件学校に小教師新法 S 着合欲だを悪道中が常時中上行道副行道水曜小稼働一世中中法毎しさ青年以外領中上特入無常道削除十部心ナム妙法蓮華経ナム妙法蓮華経ナム妙法蓮華経ナム妙法蓮華経ナム妙法蓮華経ナム妙法蓮華経妙法蓮華経 Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo 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 Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo 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 Myo Namu Myo Renge Kyo Namu Myo Renge Kyo Namu Myo Renge Kyo Namu. Namu Myo Renge Kyo Namu Myo Renge Kyo Namu Myo Renge Kyo Namu. Thank you very much.